Hello, everyone. Brad Logan alongside David Johnson for the Red and Blue Crew podcast. Today's show is brought to you by our good friends at the Velvet Ditch, also our friends over at the Land Shark and the Hearn Law Firm. More about all of our sponsors here in just a moment. David, it was a big weekend, but we need to start down in Jackson. You had a mega camp and want to have a chance to talk about that. I know you had a ton of coaches and a ton of players on hand.
Yeah, no doubt. We had over 1,000 again, and it was a great event all the way around. I got to watch LaMarcus Jones, the offensive tackle commit from Callaway High School, up close and personal. And let me tell you, Ole Miss is getting a stud in LaMarcus Jones. He dominated all day long. I mean, that's really all I can say. He's got great feet, good length, high football IQ. He was one of the standouts at the camp. There's no doubt about it. As well as Devin Alfred, who is Dylan Alfred's younger brother, the Ole Miss freshman wide receiver. Devin, of course, is transferring to MRA, and he was one of the top performers as well. So, some good-looking Ole Miss talent on display at the camp.
Who all were some of the universities and schools and junior colleges that were on hand?
Yeah, we were a little bit shocked to see Southern Miss walk through the door with them having a mega camp later this week. And I was just about to get up and say no. And our good friend Barney Farr, who had a Southern Miss logo on, he comes walking in. And anyway, I was glad they were down there. Barney offered a wide receiver out of Texas that already has an Ole Miss offer, Tristan Shaw out of Mesquite, Texas. Outstanding talent. And he's got two younger brothers that are coming along as well. And wouldn't surprise me at all if they both end up with Ole Miss offers too. But no, we were glad to see Southern Miss down there. Louisiana Lafayette brought their entire coaching staff for the second year in a row. We had more than 50 college coaches there, a lot of JUCO coaches, a lot of D2 coaches, and it was a rousing success. We're looking forward to being back in the vet and with Jackson State again next year.
And for those listening and watching, you just named it. Jackson State was the host this year. I know we've had some conversations off air. Really positive time down there with Jackson State and their staff.
Oh, absolutely. Hakeem McClellan was the athletic director at Mississippi Valley State when we first had the mega camp over there in 2023. And Hakeem took the deputy AD job at Jackson State and left Valley, and it was an easy connection. Shout out to him. Shout out to assistant head coach Otis Ridley and the entire Jackson State staff, Coach Taylor. They made it easy. And we enjoy our partnership with them, and we'll continue that in 2026.
David, just kind of a general question about camps like this. I think you look in the state of Mississippi, what you and your partner Marcus Dent have done over the years. What's some feedback that you've gotten from not only coaches, high school coaches, but high school parents about having a camp like this to be able to display some talent? I know you and I've talked a lot about the camp down south last year, then Mississippi Valley 2 years ago. So many offers are being offered to so many of these players otherwise would not have been seen without the camp. What's just some feedback you've gotten from some parents and some high school coaches?
Yeah, it's almost all positive. We partner with Catapult as well, who do the vests that record the miles per hour and just about any kind of metric you could want. You can't get that anywhere else around here. And, all that data is made available to all the colleges that attend the mega camp and to all the schools that use Catapult. And Ole Miss is a school that uses Catapult. It's mostly positive. You're going to have the parental feedback of, my kid should have been given a top performer award. But it's real easy to say, hey, who offered your son? Because we're not picking those top performers. The college coaches are. So if you've got a beef with how your son did, you have to take it up with those guys, not us, because we leave it in the hands of the coaches on the field to tell us who the top performers were.
Um, just a lot of success in Mississippi and a lot of recruiting areas, but only a select few are going to be ranked like 4 and 5 star. Is this camp, and of course he'll be available next year, and I know you're excited and you guys are already planning for next year, but is this a perfect camp for players that are looking forward to doing this next year? Because a lot of younger kids come to this. Is this a camp a perfect spot for someone that might be unranked, maybe even a 2 star, to be able to get more recognition?
Yeah, recognition, of course, but rankings, no. This is an offer count, Brad. It's about getting offers. It's not about going out there and a coach is going to spend half the afternoon teaching you how to fire off. This is it. I mean, you're in front of the college coaches and you're there to show what you can do. I mean, it's kind of a business atmosphere, if you will. Now, younger kids, it is a great camp to get your feet wet in, period, because it is run just like any college camp anywhere in America that you will attend. And, this is, but no, it's all business. The college coaches are about business and the athletes are about business. And that business is going out there and getting a free college education. That's how parents, I think, should look at it. Um, it doesn't cost very much to attend, particularly when it's right here in Mississippi. Um, and it's an investment in your future. I mean, I don't care if you leave there with an offer from Colin or Notre Dame. Either way, college is paid for. And that is a tremendous relief for a lot of families in this state. So that's kind of how we look at it. It's about hey, let's get out there and let's get in front of college coaches who will offer you on the spot. I mean, I'm telling you, Mesquite, Texas wide receiver Tristan Shaw got an offer from Southern Miss as soon as the coaching staff walked through the gate and met him and his family. I was right there when they offered. And Jackson State probably offered more than 40 kids themselves. Mississippi Valley was there. They offered some kids. Louisiana Lafayette's offered some kids. These kids didn't have those offers before the camp. So, you go out there and again, you have more than 1,000 kids, but, if you get 100 of them leaving with an offer, I mean, you're batting 100 and that's 10% and that's great, because, not everybody's going to get an offer, but you might get on the radar if you're a younger kid where they're going to track you over the next couple of years. So, but yeah, great event. It was fantastic. And we're going to do another combine camp at Arkansas Pine Bluff in July. We'll be announcing the date on that one coming up. Very similar, but it's in a period where only FCS schools can attend. So you won't have the big boys, but you'll have a lot of the 1AAs, as I call them, that'll be there for that camp.
We'll keep everybody up to date on our social feed of the Red and Blue Crew podcast. And yeah, huge success. David, I always said if one kid gets offered, it's worth it. And so I love how you put that this is not a camp about rankings. This is a camp about being offered. And that's a great selling tool for kids out there. So be on the lookout for that camp at Arkansas Pine Bluff. David, I want to swap over to the diamond sports. And I think people probably are going to be a little surprised at my thoughts about baseball, but I want to start with softball. Jamie Traxel and someone that you and I talked about, heading into the season, picked next to last by the coaches. And finish in the College World Series and face ultimately the best pitcher in softball and take her to the brink. And that's of course at Texas Tech. And just a heck of a run for Ole Miss softball, and the future is so bright for Coach Jamie Trachtel and this program. And I know the latter part of the year you had a lot of conversations with that coaching staff, and you're not as much as surprised as just the average Joe, but nonetheless, very good season for this Ole Miss softball program.
Oh yeah, look, and I got to tell you, I'm extremely surprised. Before the season started, I thought the coaches probably picked them where they needed to be, which was 14th out of 15th. Um, After a couple of weeks, you could see they were better than that. And, I don't mind. I've said it before. I went out to the field while they were practicing one day, and I told Jamie I owed her an apology because I really ripped her up last year when, by all accounts, the team was falling apart. You were losing key players, you were losing key coaches. And, I think Jamie took some of that criticism aimed at her and she turned it into fuel. And man, she worked her butt off in the off season, not only with the roster, but the coaching staff. To bring in a guy the caliber of Aaron Earlywine. And I remember hearing some undertow when Aaron Earlywine was hired from, former Missouri coach, had taken the Tigers to the College World Series, was that, well, maybe she's hired her replacement. And then she gets Nancy Evans to work with our pitchers, which Nancy Evans is a college softball legend. 3 national titles as a player, 3 as an assistant coach. And then she brings over Bobby Buchanan from Texas Tech to strictly work with the hitters. And man, oh man, the roster that was put together. I mean, to bring in Aaliyah Benford from Baylor, to bring in Ashton Lansdale through the portal, the freshmen, Miley Wachino, Mackenzie Pickens, Percy Lamas. I mean, absolutely incredible job. And I said in that column, Jamie should get some consideration for SEC Coach of the Year. Of course, she didn't because of politics, I suppose. But, Ole Miss is not yet considered a power in SEC softball. I think Jamie changed that projection a little bit by getting them to the College World Series. But just an amazing job, Brad. I mean, she, we like to call Lane Kiffin the portal king. I think after this portal cycle with softball, you're going to be able to call her the portal queen because now not only does she have a College World Series team to work with where 3 freshmen played critical roles. She's got a brand new stadium and she's got the power of the Grove Collective behind her. I think she's going to be able to do some severe damage, if you will, in the transfer portal. And she already had another really good crop of freshmen that are on the way in. I mean, I can't wait till next year. I'm excited. This is every bit a team that, with a few key acquisitions in the portal, could get back to Oklahoma City. And don't downplay what they did. They went to Arizona and beat one of college softball's all-time powerhouses in a stadium tailor-made for them, in an atmosphere tailor-made for them, and in a crowd that was very hostile. And their reward was getting to go to Arkansas and having to beat them 2 out of 3 games for the second time this year to get to the College World Series. And, they lost to Texas Tech 1-0. You brought that up. The Texas Tech pitcher, Kennedy, is just absolutely incredible. There's tell out there that they paid $1 million for her. She was worth every penny. And, yeah, I mean, Ole Miss softball, nothing to be disappointed about at all. I mean, this is what we've been building towards and waiting on. Um, Mike Smith tried to get them there, never could, but Jamie Traxel got them there, and she deserves all the due credit for putting together a fabulous coaching staff, one that I think is the best in the SEC, as well as a great roster. And I think next year they're probably going to be picked anywhere from 5th to 7th in the SEC. And we all know, that's great, because a 7th place team in the SEC could very well end up in Oklahoma City at the end of the year.
I'll preface this question with the whole world of NIL, the whole world of recruiting, whether it be softball, baseball, basketball, football, is completely different. But how important was it to make it to Oklahoma City on top of playing in a new facility? How much of those two things play into recruiting at a high level, and how much do those two things play into Ole Miss being at least somewhat recognized in the world of the power players of college softball?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, the recruiting question, I mean, it helps tremendously. Now, most softball classes are put together kind of years in advance. It's not like football, where guys are flipping and flopping in all different directions all the way up until signing day. So I think it's going to help tremendously with the 27 class. But from a recruiting standpoint, it's going to help tremendously immediately with the transfer portal. You're going to have some of the top players in the country that are going to seriously look at Ole Miss as their next destination. Having a new stadium, having a successful coaching staff. Now, what Jamie's got to do, and this is the flip side of the portal, Jamie's got to hold it all together. I mean, because there are teams out there that would love to have Miley Wachino, that would love to have Mackenzie Pickens, that would love to have Percy Lamas. Even our coaching staff, with what Bobby Buchanan and Aaron Earlywine did with the bats at Ole Miss this year, there are teams out there that would love to hire them away. Nancy Evans. So it's a double-edged sword, and those are things we're going to be really keeping our eyes on the next couple of weeks throughout the summer is, what happens in the portal with this team. I'm not saying anybody's leaving, but that's a possibility. And there are going to be key additions. So, that's kind of the story with softball. And I'll have I don't want to call it an autopsy, but a recap of their season out on Thursday morning. And we're going to look at some of the things, some of their accomplishments, basically, and get ready to kind of set that stage for what could happen in the portal over the next couple of weeks and months.
A bright, bright future for Coach Jamie Traxel and this Ole Miss softball program, without question. One final thing today, David. Ole Miss baseball kind of defies the odds, gets hot in the latter part of the year, and just gets down, I think, 12-3 to Murray State in the championship game of the Oxford Regional, claws all the way back to 12-11, and just cannot get that extra base hit in the ninth inning to get the game, or at least to advance to the Super Regionals. The bad news is you would be able to host if you win that game, and not able to get over the hump. But I think if you look at the positives, Ole Miss was not expected to be very good this year. They kind of defied some odds and not only made the postseason, they hosted a regional back in Oxford, the first time that's happened in a number of years. Tough way for the season to end, David, but I do think if Mike Bianco can keep this team together, I think they could be really good next year, hit the portal with some pitching acquisitions. And I think with Joel Mangrum, he's been a huge component of success for this Ole Miss baseball team this year.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, hats off to the job they did, particularly, during the late regular season where they really got hot. With Murray State, I mean, it hurts. I mean, it hurts you. I look around the stands and I see my cardiologist there on the front row, and I thought I was going to have a heart attack, but thank God I didn't need him. Um, they battled hard. Um, it's what you could have had. You could have had a Duke team coming to Oxford for a super regional, and where you're 2 wins away from going to the College World Series. Um, but you had to get over that Murray State hump, and we didn't. We did not. Um, and that leaves a bitter taste in everybody's mouths. But I believe what you said. If you hold this team together, man, there are some fantastic things that could be in wait for them. But man, losing to Murray State at Swayze, it kind of rings back to the year Tennessee Tech knocked us off. You're not supposed to lose to Murray State or Tennessee Tech when all the marbles are on the line. And somehow we did.
Ole Miss dug themselves a hole on that championship game, battled back, but could not get over the hump. So all eyes will be on the transfer portal that's wide open right now, and we'll see how head coach Mike Bianco fills those gaps along with Joel Mangrum, specifically watching that pitching staff to see what happens for next year. Once again, thank our sponsors. That's, of course, the Velvet Ditch and the Land Shark. We're grateful for their sponsorship. Also thankful for our friends over at the Hearn Law Firm. Thank you very much for your support and all of your support of the Red and Blue Crew podcast. For David Johnson, I'm Brad Logan. We'll talk to you soon right here on the Red and Blue Crew podcast.